Hi, good night, everyone. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I am here live to take your immigration questions. So if you're going through the process, you're thinking about going through the process, you've been through the process, I'm pretty sure you have that one question that's just nagging at you. And now is the time to take advantage of me being here to ask that question. So go ahead, put your questions in the comments. You can also put your questions in that Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. So I am here every night. And so if you don't have a question today, but you will have a question in the future, go ahead and start to follow me. And as soon as you see me go live, you'll get notification. You can hop on and ask your question. So go ahead, put your questions in the comments. Now, I am going to formally introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I help clients to get their green cards and status in the United States. So you can go to the link in my bio if you want to learn more about me. You can learn how to schedule a consultation, how to contact me, more about me, what I've done, what are the practice areas that I focus on. So that is where you can get more information. The phone number is 561-405-4889. You can also find it on the website. So Latoya, thanks for your question. What are the pros and cons of the marriage visa or the K-1 visa? Which would you suggest? So it depends on your particular circumstances and what works for you. But I can definitely tell you the pros and the cons. So one pro of the K-1 is that it offers you the opportunity to bring your fiance here. Hi there, Eunice. Before you get married. So, you don't have to be rushing to get married in another country, maybe away from your relatives. You can bring your fiance over and then plan a nice event for your friends and family to attend. You can also have your fiance here to, try life out with your fiance before you actually take the big jump. Now, the con of that, though, is that it's taking just as long as a marriage immigrant visa right now. Even if you're already married and you apply for this K3 visa, what happens is there's also the K3 visa option that allows spouses to come over on a visa and then apply for the green card. That falls under the fiancé visa, but all of those are taking just as long as the immigrant marriage-based visa. So that is the con. Also, it's multiple steps for the fiancé visa. So first, you have to bring your fiancé here. So that's a whole process, very similar to consular processing, where they have to attend the interview at the embassy. And then when they come here, it's still a temporary visa. They don't have the ability to work while they're on the fiancé visa. And then you have to get married within 90 days. And then you have to go through the green card process. And then you have to spend the money then to adjust status in the United States, which can add to the cost. Whereas the marriage base, if you get married in the country or in a destination, of course, get married, you have the right to get married anywhere. But once you get married and you file these documents, your spouse would go to the interview and then come to the United States and become a permanent resident once they get through the airport. So, in a nutshell, it all depends on what works for you. So Tug 1981, how does working affect your adjustment of status if you never file taxes? So now working, it depends on what kind of adjustment of status you're doing. So if you're doing an adjustment of status through an employment, then working without your work permit can have severe consequences. However, if you're doing it through an U.S. citizen relative, then usually they will not penalize you for working without a permit. And if you've never filed taxes, it shouldn't affect you through the green card process, but it could, of course, that doesn't take away the liability with the IRS, because if the IRS finds that out, then you could owe back taxes. But that's a whole nother different story. Just got my EAD. My U.S. citizen spouse has vowed never to attend green card interview with me and scared. So T-Boz, give me a call. Let's schedule a consultation with me, because this may be a situation where you need to apply on your own. And the first thing we need to do is figure out what the circumstances are to see if you qualify to apply on your own. Because if you do go to that interview without your spouse, then they're not going to approve your marriage-based green card, because it's based on a bona fide marriage. And if your spouse doesn't attend the interview, there's no way you can show that it's bona fide. However, if your spouse is mistreating you, which, makes me wonder why she is threatening not to attend. And if she's mistreating you, there's a pattern of mistreatment, or there have been incidents in the marriage where she's mistreated you, then there's a way to apply on your own, and that there's a way to rectify the situation before you get to the interview. So at this point, make sure you get legal advice, and this is what I focus on. So schedule a consultation with me. Go to the link in my bio to contact the office and schedule. There is someone who is a scheduling coordinator who is currently on staff right now to take your calls, schedule consultations. So if you are available, you would like to schedule right now, go ahead and call the office at 561-405-4889. Schedule a consultation, and then we can talk. So is my mom allowed to get a visa now to come to the USA to come look on my brother who is sick in the hospital? So that could be a possibility, but it depends on what the circumstances are. No, a visa is never guaranteed. However, under the circumstances, perhaps there is a way to get the visa for your mom, or for her to apply on the basis that she needs to see your brother. So our zoo, I'm working that time store was robbery. Can I get a green card? So our zoo, I think that's our zoo. Definitely give me a call, schedule a consultation. If you've been the victim of a crime, and it sounds like definitely you were in the store and you were the victim of a robbery, definitely there is the option of the U visa. Now the U visa definitely takes a while, so it is a 10-year wait for it. However, in the meantime, once they evaluate your case and they determine that you qualify for it, you could get a work permit while you wait for the U visa to come through, the decision. So schedule a consultation with me and let's talk about it. Bele, how the backlog going now with the immigrants? So there's still that backlog, and of course it took years for this backlog to happen, and then COVID hit and made it worse, and then of course it's gonna take years, unfortunately, for it to be cleared out. Latoya, you're welcome. How would you explain living for 9 years without working at your interview? So Tug 1981, if you have worked, you should disclose this. So you definitely cannot go to that interview and state that you never worked. If you never worked, then I'm pretty sure you can explain why how you supported yourself, whether it was a family member that supported you financially. However, if you did work, then you should go in there and be completely honest. The worst thing you can do is go into an interview and be untruthful, because that can lead to worse immigration violations, immigration consequences. Now, Tuk 1981, if you are adjusting status through a U.S. citizen spouse, then or a U.S. citizen relative, and you're the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen. So immediate relatives would be you spouse of a U.S. citizen, the parent of a U.S. citizen, or the son or daughter under 21 and unmarried of a U.S. citizen. They don't they don't hold working without a permit against you. And so you have the option of disclosing this information at the same time not worrying about immigration consequences. Can someone apply for the green card through work? Absolutely, yes. What's the possibility there are to bring your daughter in the USA with status TPS? So you would not be able to sponsor any relatives with the TPS status. So Sophia, thank you for the follow. So Belle, so if you're waiting for an interview date, will that take years? So no. Now, it's taking years for the backlog. Now, I'm not talking about an individual case, but keep in mind, it just depends on what kind of application you have pending, Belle, because it could be years for you, but I don't know what kind of application you have pending, and I don't know where you are in the process. But some processes do take years and some take months, but some processes that could take months it's taking much longer than that because there's an overall backlog in the immigration system. Tuk 1981, you're welcome. Dan Me 45, you didn't answer me. So Dan Me, go ahead and put your question in the comments again because I did not see your question. So keep those questions coming. I'm here to answer your immigration questions. So why not take advantage of a U.S. immigration attorney being here right now for the next couple of minutes to answer questions. I'm here every day. So if you want to go ahead and follow me, and then once you see me go live, always you can hop on and ask your questions. So the Queen just said, can I use expired passport for my file? So no, you can show it initially, but you'll have to have a valid passport in order to obtain a valid current passport in order to obtain your immigration benefit. How difficult is it to adjust status or your wife if you are a permanent resident? So in order for your spouse to adjust status, your spouse, the sponsoring spouse would have to, or the immigrant spouse would have to maintain legal status. That means they have to have the visa valid and not overstay for the time. So it is possible. However, I don't see many of those cases. Most people overstay, and if they overstay, then they'll need to apply for forgiveness for overstaying, and then when they get that forgiveness, they're able to leave the country and apply outside of the country. With those cases, it's very important to get legal advice before you do anything. So you would love to study in the United States, Abriana, and that could definitely be a possibility for you. It depends on what you want to study, which schools will accept you, and whether you can qualify for the student visa. Sophia, can someone with expired visa apply for asylum? That is a possibility. Keep in mind that when you're applying for asylum, you must apply within 1 year of your entry into the United States. And if you pass that deadline, you'll need to have a very good reason for missing that 1 year deadline. So you'd have to show that you had some sort of extraordinary circumstances, or that you didn't apply before because the conditions that you're afraid of have now just happened. And so it has just occurred, and that's why you didn't apply within the 1 year deadline. So what if my child was born in the US but I'm not a citizen? So if your child was born in the US, that doesn't automatically give you any options to get status in the United States. However, when that child grows, if that's your only option, and your child grows to 21, then they could sponsor you for the permanent residence. So I overstayed my visa, what can I do? So that is a very loaded question, and it really depends on what's going on in your situation, Lanisha. Depends on whether you qualify for the green card through family or through humanitarian means. So you can always schedule a consultation to explore your options. Sophia Hersey, you're welcome. So lady came for a holiday, met a guy, they got married, and she's trying to adjust her status and she overstayed her tourist visa. So a Swahili girl, if she overstayed and got married to a U.S. citizen, then she would be able to apply for the permanent residence through adjustment of status, as long as she doesn't have any other disqualifying factors in her background. Oh, so can someone who got deported over 10 years ago be able to return to the USA? It's definitely a possibility, but it's very case specific, Burnt. It depends on what the basis of the deportation was, and then whether there's a waiver, if a waiver is required. So schedule a consultation and we can talk more about that. I'm from Trinidad. I'd like to move to the USA with my family to work or open my own business. So Jessie, or Jess, exquisite, definitely schedule a consultation with me. We can talk more about your business and how you can make that happen, how you can qualify. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Now, I want you all to know that there is a scheduling coordinator who is available right now to take your calls and schedule your consultations. So if you are free right now and you'd like to call the office to schedule, you can do that. If you don't get the scheduling coordinator because she's already on a call, then she would definitely return your call to schedule you tonight for a consultation. So you can get that out of the way and know that you will have a consultation ready to learn your options, know what you qualify for, and come up with a game plan to get status in the United States. So Mahisha, is it possible for her to file as a child? So Mahisha, I didn't see the other part of it. So can a green card holder with two DUIs file for their spouse? So usually they don't necessarily look at the background of the green card holder or the sponsoring spouse. So yes, it is definitely possible. However, with two DUIs, for example, with citizenship, it could affect the green card holder, but not to sponsor a spouse necessarily. Now, if there's something you're concerned about, Mensa, I'm giving you general advice. I'm not giving you personal legal advice. When it comes down to criminal issues, it's so important to get legal advice. So you can always call, schedule a consultation, and confirm that you qualify to sponsor your spouse. User, I travel here every year to visit my friend, but I think I want to live there. How can I do that? So it depends on what you qualify. Do you qualify through family, an employer, humanitarian means? So it all depends. Hi there, Amelie. It's nice to see you. So I'm going through those questions very quickly. Hang tight for those of you who put your questions in. How can I start a business in the USA from Jamaica? So surely goodness apparel, it depends on what type of business that you're going to start, but there are ways to set up your business here, and you would do it similar to any other place. So you would decide what entity you want to create. Is it a corporation, an LLC, a partnership? What is it going to be then? You are going to do a bank account. You're going to find a place to set up your business. So those are the basics. But as for any further advice, it really depends on what type of business that you would create. And then on top of that, whether what you're doing will qualify you for the E2 visa. So why the political asylum is so slow? So asylum in general is very slow because the system is backlogged. Ari. Hi there from Kurdistan. It's nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Jesse, you're welcome. Hi there, Heavenly Ice Angel. It's nice to see you. How to get a work permit for the USA? So it depends on how you qualify. You have to have a type of application that will allow you to apply for a work permit while that application is pending. If you want to come here and work, there's also employment-based visas, but it depends on the needs of the employer, who the employer is the employer willing to sponsor you, what are your qualifications, what are the needs of the country. So as you can tell, there are just a number of different factors that we would have to work through to determine first what type of visa would qualify in your case, and then what the process would be to get that visa. Could you tell me if there are any visiting visa dates available anytime soon? No, so no, you'd have to check with the embassy on that. Odessa Willis, is Guyana an E2 country? Unfortunately not. My friend works here as a nanny for 5 years as a working visa. Only can she apply for a green card? So no, unless the employer decides to apply for her green card, she wouldn't just automatically obtain a green card. Usually a green card holder, if they maintain a green card for at least 5 years, they can become a U.S. citizen. But having a visa alone is not going to qualify you to get a green card. What amount of money does my husband have to earn to sponsor 7 people? So TalkTalk 1981, if you go to the uscis.gov website, find the I-864P form. You can do it in the search, I-864P, and it's going to bring up a chart. And that chart is going to tell you basically what the household number and how much he should be making. So hang tight, everyone, as I get through your questions. Queen just said, you are welcome. I'm very glad that I could assist you. Mahisha, you're welcome. If I want to move the USA from Canada, what do I need to do? I am a U.S. citizen. So if I want to move to the USA from Canada. So Canadians don't necessarily have, other than things like the TN visa, which is an employment-based type visa. You would really have to, it depends on your qualifications and who your employer is, what your qualifications are to determine what you would qualify for to come to the United States to live and work. You can always give me a call, schedule a consultation, 49 Drake. Someone is available right now to take your calls and schedule your consultation. So Jesse, it's 561-405-4889 to call and schedule. You can also, if you go to any of my videos, I guarantee you'll find my number there. You can also go to the link in my bio and it takes you to the website. Another good way to get in touch with the office is to complete the web form, because sometimes the phone lines do get busy and the scheduling coordinator can't get to you right away. When they see your form come in, they will contact you as well. Return your call and schedule the consultation. So are there any changes for foreigners living in the United States with the Biden administration? Heavenly Ice Angel, it has been revealed that Biden does have plans in the future. It was in the New York Times that Biden has plans in the future to try to change, restructure the immigration system to make it a fairer system, to help those who are in the country without status. But as for the details of those, we don't know yet, but those could possibly be down the pipeline. So just hang tight, keep an eye. As soon as I hear something that's official, I will be yelling from the hilltops. So can I have a reading for my brother who is fighting for his life in the hospital? So Vicky, no, there is no special visa for individuals who have a relative who is ill here. But what you can do is definitely apply for a visa to be able to see your brother and make it be known. Also, make it be known that your brother needs you, and then you could possibly get a visa to see your brother. So Mafisadu, if your spouse doesn't want to do the paperwork for the 10 years paper, what do you do? Mavisadu, definitely get in touch with me, schedule a consultation, because this is what I focus on. If you're in the United States, your spouse, your U.S. citizen spouse does not want to help you to apply, I want to explore that more. Because if your spouse is doing that and mistreating you at the same time, then there is a way to apply for it on your own. So schedule a consultation with me. I can't stress how important it is to do a consultation, because you can learn what you qualify for, whether this could be a solution for you. So Surely Goodness Apparel, you're welcome. Do you only help persons who want to move to the US? What about Canada or other countries? So I'm a Magnificent. I'm a US immigration attorney, so I only do the United States. Infamous Saucy. So I'm famous Saucy. How long is it taking for fingerprint interviews since COVID? I applied in October for adjustment of status. Unfortunately, that is backlogged, and you do have some that are taking very long to get their fingerprints, unfortunately. So just hang tight, contact them, make sure that everything is good on your end, that there's nothing that you need to send to them. Vicky, I believe I answered your question. Are there any changes in the Biden administration? So I answered that. So my parents, let's see. My parents filing for me and my daughter. Will my granddaughter be able to come along? So if now with your daughter, she has to be under 21 and unmarried. And now your daughter doesn't necessarily have the right. So she doesn't have the right to carry her derivatives along with her, and you would have to figure out another way to get her children to go along with you. However, if your daughter is under 21 and unmarried, she'd be able to go along with you, but her kids would not. They are not included as derivatives, unfortunately. So hello, can you change status from a J1 to an F1 if you decide to and get accepted for a school? So that could be a possibility. I don't know what your situation is. Schedule a consultation if you'd like to explore more, but it's definitely a possibility to go from one to the other. You just have to qualify, and it depends on the terms of your J1 visa. What would an employer have to do to obtain a green? So I think that's Greencard. So the employer has to file for you, and they also have to meet certain requirements. They have to show that they have a need for your service to the employer, that you qualify for it, and they have to go through what's called a labor certification process most times. Would you advise someone with an F1 visa to apply for the TPS? So if this is going to be more advantageous than the F1, now with the F1, TPS is to protect those from deportation, and usually it's in place for individuals who don't already have a status. So in this case, you have an F1 visa. I don't know what your situation is. I don't know when it expires. So, but generally, if you're in good standing with your F1 visa, then, it would really depend on what's going on in your case. What I would say, because I can't give you personal legal advice, is call to schedule a consultation, and then let's talk about the pros and cons of your situation. I know the TPS, it has the work permit, and so that maybe with the F1 status, it's hard to work on the F1 status. So but I would not be able to advise you as to which one is better until I actually I gauge your situation and circumstances. COVID Goon, hi there. Thanks for the follow. My child US passport expired 10 months ago. She's in JA, don't know where the father is. Do I need a lawyer? So to apply for sponsorship, to apply for renewal of your child's passport, doesn't necessarily need an attorney. However, if it's more complex, which it sounds like the situation is a little more complex, you should definitely schedule a consultation, and let's talk about it. Queen Tani, hi there from Jamaica. Tuk 1981, you are welcome. Vivitone, you are welcome. So keep those questions coming because I am here to answer your immigration questions. So what's the cost? So Give Thanks 26, what's the cost of a consultation? I'm based in Trinidad. So I charge $150 for each of the consultations. That's for up to an hour. We discuss in detail your situation. I advise. You walk away knowing your options, knowing what you qualify for, knowing what you need to do in order to get the status that you want in the United States. And you could walk away with me as your attorney should you need an attorney. So 592, unfortunately, appointments are taking long to schedule. There is a backlog and there is no time. It just depends on the embassy and what's going on there. How can I have a consultation with you? So Mafi Sadu, definitely call. Schedule a consultation by calling 561-405-4889. You can also go to the link in the bio. It takes you to the website where you can complete a contact form. And when you complete the contact form, it goes to the scheduling coordinator who will then call you back. So go ahead and schedule that consultation, Mafisado. I'm looking forward to assisting you with your situation. So I don't see any more questions. I am going to log out for the night, but I'm here every day with few exceptions. So go ahead, follow me. And then as soon as you see me go live, go ahead and put your questions in the comments and I can answer your question. If you want to learn more about me, go to the link in my bio. You can also go to any one of the videos to get the phone number. It's 561-405-4889 to schedule a consultation. Thank you everyone for these great questions. So I have one more. Can I apply for an open work permit without a job offer to the US? So it's unlikely you would. There are some, it just depends on what your qualifications are. Work permits are usually attached to an immigration application. So you have to be applying for a type of immigration benefit to get the work permit. In those cases, you don't need an employer. However, if you are outside of the United States or you're applying for some other employment-based visa, then you're definitely going to need to have, well, not definitely, but in most cases, you definitely would need to have an employer who's willing to apply for you and to sponsor you through the process. So keep that in mind. All right, have a good night, everyone. Go to the link in my bio, complete the contact form if you want to get a call back to schedule a consultation, or you can call the number. Shane Grant, you're welcome. You can call the number, it's all over my videos. Shalina, how do you get an employer? So I deal with the immigration side. To get an employer, you would have to do that search on your own, and it depends on what your industry is, what you're looking for, what you qualify for. So if you don't know anybody in the US, then there are agencies that are available. There are some companies that do recruit internationally, but you'll have to do that search, Shalina. So go ahead and call me, schedule a consultation, or follow me so you can get little tidbits of information, or so that you can hop on and ask your questions in the live show, which I do every day. Shalina, you're welcome. Have a good night, everyone.